Even though they don't have power, their homes stay up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than the 120-degree summer heat. Also, it's not magic. This old, smart tip could really help you save money on your energy bills this summer. Welcome! The last week, I've learned a lot about the Amish way of life. I talked to people in the community, read old farming journals, and even went on tours of traditional Amish houses. What did I find out? It blew my mind. They don't have air conditioning or fans in their homes because they use a set of simple, tried-and-true methods, some of which are over 200 years old. In today's movie, I'll show you 10 real, useful ways that they deal with the heat. Many of them you can do at home. We're talking about cool rooms underground, roofs that reflect light, and windows that are covered with vines. It's not just traditions. These are hidden gems of smart science that have been lost. But first, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that your grandparents or an older friend did something in the summer that kept their house cooler without using electricity? Please share your story in the comments. I look forward to reading them. Let's start. Number 1. Where the house is located and natural shade. First, let's talk about something that most of us don't think about. Where your house is located on the land. It's likely that neither you nor I picked where our homes were built. The Amish do. They also don't just pick spots. Before they build, they look at the sun's path through the sky all year long. Then they pick a spot and direction that will stay cooler on its own. Almost all Amish houses face east or southeast. Why is that? Because that direction gets the soft morning sun and stays out of the hot afternoon sun. That's smart, right? That's not all, though. They also plant trees for a reason. On the west and south sides of the house, which get very hot in the afternoon, put big green trees. The thick, cool shade these trees give the house is like nature's umbrella. In some homes, vines are grown on trellises next to windows. When summer comes, those plants get thick and block the sun from reaching the glass. Less heat inside means no need for energy. One more thing. Plants and trees give off water into the air, which makes the area around them even cooler. Shade isn't enough. You need to make a cool bubble around your house. This is what you might be thinking. I can't move my house. Of course not. You can still use these ideas in little ways, though. Do you have a room in your house that always feels like an oven? That room faces west and gets direct sunlight. To fix that, plant something smart outside that window, like a tree, a shrub, or even a shade cloth. You'll notice a change. Not enough room for trees. You could use bamboo blinds, awnings, or mirrored shades. You can cool down your home with anything, even a pop-up canopy over a porch. The Amish also know this. Heat doesn't just fall, it also bounces back up from the ground. That's why they don't build next to deep roads or big slabs of concrete. These things soak up heat and send it back at your walls. Instead, they put grass, dirt, or gravel around their homes, because those are natural materials that don't heat up and stay cooler. What are you going to do? If your driveway or garden is a huge heat sink, try putting down plants, mulch, or even lighter coloured gravel on some of the hard surfaces. A small fix makes a big difference. In the end, you can cool your home by 10 to 30 degrees if you work with nature instead of against it, not going near the thermostat. Number 2, cross-ventilation and making your own wind catchers. Now let's talk about how air moves. Any amount of shade won't help if the air inside your home is still and hot. It will feel like a steam room. This is where the Amish really shine. They use something called cross-ventilation. It's not just opening any window either. This is a smart way to let air flow through the house, like a breeze tube. Your home is like lungs. It needs to take in cool air and let out hot air. Your house will heat up quickly if that air gets stuck. This is something that Amish builders know. They put the doors and windows in a way that lets air flow straight through. One window lets the breeze in, and another window across the room lets the hot air out. What if there's no wind? They have an extra one. Wind catchers are simple structures that can be put on the roof or window frames of some Amish homes. They catch even a small breeze and push it inside. To make your own, all you need are metal or woodwind scoops or screens that are turned at an angle. You don't need high-tech stuff. The style needs to be smart, so try this tonight. During the early morning or late evening, open windows on both sides of your house. Set up a cross breeze. Open a window and put a fan in it to move warm air through the house. You won't believe how fast your house starts to feel like a home again. The Amish don't just let fresh air into their homes when they open the doors and windows. They also set up a natural airflow system that works great. And when the wind from nature isn't enough, they use something called a wind trap to help it out a bit. I understand that sounds like something from a pirate ship, but it's a simple and useful tool. A wind catcher is usually a small building made of metal or wood that sits on top of the roof. It looks a bit like a small chimney. It doesn't pull in smoke though. It pulls in air. The breeze is pushed down into the house by this construction when the wind blows. On the other side, a vent or window lets hot air out. No power, no noise, and no bill. It's like a natural air conditioner. You don't have to start from scratch, so don't worry. You can get great effects even with just a box fan in the window. How to do it? Place one fan on the sunny side of your house so that it faces inward. This will bring cooler air in. Then put another fan facing outward near a door or the other window to get rid of the hot air. Boom! Instant air exchange. Also, here's a quick pro tip. Lower windows should be opened to let cooler air in from the outside. To get rid of hot air, open upper windows or roof vents. That's because hot air lifts. Let it out and cool air will come in its place. Extra? Keep the air moving over your skin by using ceiling fans or handheld fans. Even though they don't cool the room down, they make you feel 4 to 8 degrees cooler. This can quickly cool down your home and only takes a few minutes a day. It also doesn't use any electricity. Before you hit the AC button, try this trick that the Amish have said works. Number 3. Cooling by thermal mass. Let's really go underground. For one reason, thermal mass cooling is one of the coolest things the Amish do that you probably never hear about. It sounds high-tech, doesn't it? But it's really old-school smarts. The Amish often use thick, dense building materials like stone, brick, or packed earth to make their houses. During the day, these things slowly take in heat, and at night, they slowly give it back. As a result, a temperature inside that stays stable on its own so you don't need AC. Think about it like a mug. By keeping the heat inside, it keeps your coffee hot or cold for hours. That's what these things do for your house. For example, clay, limestone, or hand-laid bricks are often used to make the thick walls of Amish houses. These soak up cool air at night and slowly let it out during the day, like temperature sponges. There are no rapid jumps in temperature, no blasts of cold air, just a steady, smooth comfort. It gets better though. Root cellars are also used. These are small tunnels that are dug into the ground, sometimes under the house and sometimes to the side. Even on the hottest summer day, these places are typically dark, damp and cool. In the past, root cellars were used to store food like vegetables, milk and butter. They were like nature's refrigerator before power. But here's the real trick. The temperature stays the same as you go deeper into the earth. A few feet below, the temperature stays the same all year, between 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Going into a root cellar when it's 100 degrees outside? It feels like going into a cave, like a natural fridge. Not having a root cellar? You can still use the idea to your advantage. If you have a basement, spend more time there because it's cooler there. Leave the door to the floor open so that some of the cool air can rise. If you're building or remodeling, you might want to use stone floors, brick walls, or even concrete tables. All of these things retain heat and help keep the temperature inside stable. It's important to make even small changes. Put a clay pot in the kitchen. Place a brick behind your plants. Yes, they slowly take in and give off heat, which helps cool the place without you having to do anything. Tradition doesn't make this true. It's natural physics. You'll understand why Amish homes are so cool, even when it's very hot, once you see how well it works. Number 4. Evaporative cooling. No need for electricity. Let's talk about water, which we all have but don't use very often to cool off. Yes, the Amish use plain old H2O to stay cool. They have done this for generations without any tools or electricity. The way? It's known as evaporative cooling. How it works? It takes heat out of the air when water disappears. That's why you get cold when you get out of the pool and why a breeze feels better when you're hot. You can use the same idea that the Amish do to cool down your house. A very easy way to do it. Put wet sheets over the windows. Put a thick towel or bedsheet in cool water, squeeze it out and then put it over a screen or window that is open. The water starts to drain as hot air moves through it, cooling the air before it gets to your home. You can also hang wet curtains or put bowls of water near fans to help the air move around and cool and humidify. Putting a pan of water in front of a window that faces a breeze will make a small cooling system. Here are some more tricks that come from the Amish. While you work inside, put a wet cloth around your neck. If you mop your floors with cold water first thing in the morning, the room will stay cooler for longer. It cools the air as the clothes dry if you hang wet clothes inside during the hottest part of the day. There is nothing hard about these simple, free ways to use nature's cooling system to your benefit. The best part? Not any wires, not batteries, no bill every month, just a little water and a good deal of sense. These simple water-based tricks can cool things down by 5 to 10 degrees on a dry, hot day. They might not turn your house into a walk-in fridge, and if you put them together with cross-ventilation, your little off-grid cooling device is now ready to go. One of the coolest little moves? Coolers made of clay. This method is used all over the world, even in places without power and in the middle of the desert. It is also called a desert fridge. How it works? One of the clay pots should be a little smaller than the other. After putting the small one inside the bigger one, fill the space with wet sand. For drinks or veggies, put them in the inner pot and cover it with a wet cloth. The water in the sand dissolves, taking heat away from the pot inside. This keeps everything inside cool. There is no ice, not any plugs. It only takes science and time. Some Amish people don't do much at all. They put bowls of water near doors or windows so that air can flow through them. When the wind hits the surface, it picks up water and makes the temperature drop a little. It's like putting a cold drink in the air before it comes into your room. Do you want to do it at home? Putting a fan in front of a bowl of cold water will make you feel cold right away. When you're inside, hang wet towels near windows or hallways where air can move. It can help cool you down at night to sleep with a damp cloth or wet sock around your wrist. Does that sound weird? Perhaps. It does work though. These aren't just silly old ideas. They're based on real science and are wrapped in simple custom. Plus, they work best in dry places, but they can still cool things down in mild humidity without using a single machine. So keep these things in mind the next time you grab the AC remote. Soaking solutions in water can be the coolest thing ever. 5. Time is very important. Let's talk about something really easy. Timing, which is surprisingly powerful. The Amish don't try to beat the heat, they just work around it. And one of the best things they know? They change what they do every day to match the sun's cycle. They get up early. Very early. Their day starts early, around 5 or 6 a.m, when they feed the animals, make food, and do chores before the heat comes on. That's when it's coolest inside and outside. They make good use of those hours. when the sun comes up and bakes everything? They move more slowly. Not a lot of work. No cooking in the middle of the day. Don't hang your clothes out to dry in the hot sun. They rest, read, or take naps under trees for shade instead. When it's really hot outside, they stay inside and are quiet and still. It's not being lazy, it's just smart energy management. Take a moment to think about your daily habits. If it gets hot in your house by 2 p.m., every day maybe the answer isn't just turning on the AC full blast, but staying cool in the first place. How to do it. The best time to let cool air in is early in the morning. By noon, close them and any windows or curtains to keep the cool air inside. After making big meals in the morning, turn off the stove until evening. Clean up or do yard work early in the morning, and then take it easy during the hottest part of the day. Plus, one more thing that most people forget. You can also beat the heat by going to bed earlier. If you get up with the sun and go to bed before the heat of the night, your body will easily get used to the day's rhythm. This will help you sleep better, sweat less, and enjoy summer more. You don't need any tools, gadgets, or power for this tip. Pretty much just being aware. The Amish didn't fight the heat. Instead, they moved with it. Number 6. Use a light-coloured or reflective roof to bounce heat off of the building. Your roof is something that most people don't think about. Everybody looks at their house from the front. But what about the Amish? Because the sun shines brightest on top, they think about what's going on there. Roofs that are dark soak up heat. After being in the sun all day, they slowly let the heat out into your attic and rooms below, making your house feel like an oven even when the AC is on. That's why the Amish use light-coloured roofs. And it's not just for looks. These are the things they use. Shingles painted white lightwood metal roofs that are galvanised and have shiny finishes. Why does this matter? Because dark colours take in light. Light colours reflect it. The same reason why on hot days we wear white shirts instead of black ones. That thought makes a big difference. Some Amish roofs reflect so much sunlight back into the room that it stays noticeably cooler, and they don't use any power. This is what you might be thinking. I'm not about to re-roof my house this weekend. Fair enough. You can use this idea in smaller, easier ways though. You can find reflective roof coatings at hardware shops that will help keep your home cooler. To see the difference, paint a shed, porch cover, or small roof outside a lighter colour. Light-coloured curtains or window film that reflect light are good ways to keep heat out if you live in an apartment. It's possible to cool down the area around your front door by replacing dark doormats or porch steps with lighter ones. Small changes add up. So look up the next time it's hot inside. Some damage from your roof may be worse than you think. What about the Amish? It's already been fixed. They added colour. Number 7. Make your own porch or balcony retreat to cool off. It doesn't matter if you live in an apartment, you can still make your own Amish-style cooling zone. It has a balcony. Make it into a small place to relax. Put in a small fan. Put up an umbrella or shade cloth. Add some plants in pots to the area. With that, you've made a cooler spot in your house without even touching the temperature. Do you live in a house with a yard? Make a simple place to sit under a tree, a cover, or even something you can make out of cardboard. Put down a rug. Put a bowl of water close to help the air cool down through evaporation. Also, add a small fan to move the air around. It's not necessary. Just a place to feel free, breathe, and cool off without turning up the AC all the way. How does this work? There is less heat inside if you are outside during the cooler part of the day. This is because hot air rises. Also, airflow is very helpful. It takes a lot longer for your body to cool down when you're sitting in a room that is still and hot. What's even better is this. If you go outside in the evening, your house will stay cooler at night. Less heat inside means better sleep and lower bills. If you don't want to deal with the heat all day, go outside early in the morning or late in the afternoon. It's good for you. You'll save money on your power bill. You might remember how peaceful it is to watch the sun go down, listen to birds, or just sit still without tools running in the background. This is how the Amish do things, not trying to stay away from summer, but embracing it and being at ease with it. Number 8. For an old-fashioned way to cool off, use clay, sand, and water inside. Let's talk about clay, which is old but still useful, not for art class, but to cool down naturally inside. Clay pots, sand floors, and open water tubs have been used by Amish families for generations to keep their homes at a comfortable temperature, and science backs this up. The trick is this: clay is porous, which means it can take in water from the air or a damp cloth and slowly give it up as vapour. The air around it gets cooler as that water evaporates. If you put a clay pot full of water in a room or spread a wet towel over it, you're basically turning it into a natural air conditioner. It's simple, quiet, and doesn't need any power. In some Amish houses, the floors are even made of sand. It may seem strange at first, but here's why it works. Sand doesn't keep heat in like concrete does. It stays cool to the touch, especially in places with lots of shade. Think of it as walking on a cool, soft beach first thing in the morning. This natural flooring helps keep the temperature inside stable and stops heat from building up during the day. But cooling isn't the only good thing about it. Before there were freezers, the Amish used clay jars and sand-filled bins to store food. Putting wet sand on top of a wooden box, put in fruits, vegetables, or even milk. Plus, it stays cool and fresh longer. Eggs were once kept this way too, hidden in cool sand to keep them from going bad. I'm not saying you should put sand on your kitchen floor. You can do these things though. Put clay pots that have been wet in water in hot rooms. Place a bowl of water next to a window that gets a lot of airflow, and lay a wet towel over it. For even better results, use crossair, thermal curtains, or a ceiling fan with it. Simple things like clay, water, and air are used in these small steps to make a strong cooling effect. It's not magic, it's just science dressed up in old-fashioned ways. Also, the oldest tools aren't always the smartest when you need to stay cool without HVAC. Number 9. Use climbing plants or green walls. Finally, let's talk about something that's not only useful but also pretty. Things that grow, but not just any plants. Vines. For many years, Amish families have grown vines like cucumbers, grapevines, and morning glories along the walls of their houses. Why? By the middle of summer, those walls and trellises are covered in lush green leaves that do a lot more than just look good. Those plants stop the sun from hitting your walls or windows in the first place. Also, leaves cool the air around them through evaporation because they are full of water. To put it another way, you're making a green wall, which is another name for a live shade system. What's the difference? It's very big. When put correctly, a vine can cool the outside of a wall by 10 to 20 degrees, which means it will be cooler inside. How can you make this work in your own home? Climb a plant up a warm window, wall, or fence. Tree limbs, lines, or even a tall tomato cage can be used. Choose plants that grow quickly, like ivy, beans, or nasturtiums, based on how much room you have. If you live in an apartment, plant vines in pots and let them grow up the porch railings. In just a few weeks, you'll have natural shade, cleaner air, and a cooler home. And you won't have used a single watt of electricity. It looks lovely. It makes sense. Also, it serves as a warning that the best way to cool your house might already be in your garden. Even though vines might look like easy landscaping, they are actually very good at keeping your home cool. Think of them as the air conditioners of nature. They keep your walls from getting direct sunlight. Through their leaves, they let water into the air. They also make a cool spot of shade where there wasn't any before. That triple action set can make your home much cooler, especially on the west and south sides, where the sun is hottest in the afternoon. Also, no, you don't need a farm to do this. A small trellis next to a window that gets a lot of sun will do. It lets light in during the spring. In the summer, it turns into a live wall that blocks the sun's heat. Ivy can even grow on the walls of some Amish homes, which is even worse. Why? Because indoor vines help remove moisture from the air, keep the humidity level steady, and make places feel clean and open. It's not just the temperature either. It's nice to be around plants because they clean the air, quiet things down, and make you feel better overall. Live in an apartment? You can still use this. Make a garden that grows up on your deck. Use vines that grow quickly, like nasturtiums, beans, or peas. It works with even a simple wireframe or trellis leaning against a fence. You'll notice a change inside once the leaves cover the hot walls in a few weeks. Plus, one more thing. Not only do green walls keep your place cool, but they also lessen the noise from outside, make the air better, and make you feel better. So don't use tools and bills to fight the heat. Instead, work with nature. Plant something green. Let the plants grow. So sit back and watch your room naturally cool down. Number 10. How the Amish beat 120-degree heat without AC. Now you know 10 real, working Amish tricks that will help you get through even the hottest days. These aren't tricks. They work, have been tested, and are full of tips that have been passed down from generation to generation by people who have lived well without a single plug. From smart layout of homes and natural shading to sand floors, green walls, and clay pots. And easy things you can do, like planning your day and using liquid cooling. These tips can cool your house down by as much as 40 degrees, even if it's 120 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The best part is this. You can use them even if you don't have power. You can begin with little. In bright rooms, put up thermal curtains. Plant shade-giving plants outside your walls. Change what you do every day to match the sun's cycle. Set up a fan in front of a clay pot and a bowl of water. Not many changes, a lot of comfort, and less money spent on energy. You might love cooking in the summer but hate how hot the kitchen gets. You might be trying to save money and want to lower your energy bills. Or maybe you just like the smart old-fashioned tricks that people used to use before air conditioning. No matter what got you here, these Amish cooling tips will help you. That's why the coolest ideas sometimes come from people who have never had to use power. Write below and tell me, which of these tips caught you by surprise the most? Have you tried the cooler made of clay? What kind of plants are growing on your wall that keep the room cool? Or maybe your grandparents had their own secret summer trick. Feel free to share your stories with me. I read all of them. Also, if this movie helped you in any way, please do me a favour. You'll be glad you did if you hit that like button. If you need more, hacks for smart living survival tips that won't break the bank, and old advice that still works today, press subscribe now. Also, don't forget to click that bell so you never miss a movie. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, running the AC full blast isn't always the best way to beat the heat. A little shade, a cool breeze, and a bit of tradition can sometimes be all that's needed.